start in his career. What did you see from him in that?
It was good. He was the first one out. That's what we tell our guys all the time. It doesn't matter who starts. All those guys are going to play. So he was the first one out last week, and every week it's week by week of who goes out there first. But he went out there and made the most of his opportunity. He went out there and he played well. He blocked. He had opportunity too. He ran the ball hard. So it was good to see him get out there and play.
I was going to ask you about that. Just the blocking from both of them. That's the thing that they focused on. What did you see from the pass blocking from them?
It was good. We talk about being physical. We talked about having physical hands. Violent hands. I thought both of those guys did a good job of knowing, who to block, how to block them, and then the whole thing we talked about is wanting to block. Like they showed that they wanted to block. So, we want to make sure we put that on film so the next opponent sees that if they want to blitz, that we can do a great job picking it up. And I thought both of those guys did a good job. Even Richard. Richard had a knockdown, a physical scan block. Kevin Riley, the freshman, was able to get in there and have two really good blocks. So, those are the things that we talk about taking pride in. Doing the things when you don't have the ball in your hands.
How much does the mobility of the offensive line kind of help open things up for y'all?
Everything starts in the offensive line. I mean, in the SEC, it's a big man's league, whether it's on the offensive line or defensive line. So we have a really talented offensive line group. Coach Cap does a good job with those guys from a mentality standpoint. And, Booker, we got really good leadership. So, being a running back here at Alabama, it's all about the guys up front. And those guys lead us. We don't do anything in the run game or pass game without those guys, getting us started.
How much are you trying to track their snaps during the game?
Not just letting those guys play. Obviously, those guys, played about 15 to 20 snaps apiece. In that game, all of them did. We won't always have games like that. So whoever gets in, like I said, it doesn't matter who starts. Who goes out there first. Whoever gets to be hot and making the plays. That's the guy that'll play more. And I think they know that. And it's all about winning. And that's why you have all those numbers on the wall. It's about depth and having the next guy ready to play. So I try to see whoever's in the flow, and those guys will continue to play.
So is it strictly a hot hand thing, or is it one of those things where maybe in the third series you want to have that fresh back no matter what?
It's just they play ball. Same thing I've been doing here for the past 3-4 years. Same thing I've been doing everywhere I've been. And you got a talented room. You kind of let those guys play a little bit and get them flowing because it's a long season. We're trying to play 16, 17 games. So it's not about keeping somebody happy. It's about playing the best guy that helps us win.
Coach DeBoer has mentioned a couple times that the backs generally are similar size and similar skill sets, but Hill brings a little something different, right, with his size and power. Can you comment on his?
Well, I hope so. He's still a young guy. He's still trying to feel his way around his body, but he is a big physical guy. The vision for him is to be a guy that can move the pile, be the physical hammer, and not the nail. You want all those guys to be different, but he's a guy that has a frame and size that look like some of those old school Alabama running backs, that can get downhill, move the pile. But he's also a guy that has versatility. He was a quarterback in high school, has really good hands. So he's not your typical just down the hill bruising guy, but he's still got a way to go just from learning the X's and O's of it and how to play without the football.
How's his blocking? You just said how do you play without the football?
Playing without the football is what he has to continue to work on. It's a want to do it. He just got to learn how to do it, and that's with any high school freshman. So we'll take our time with him, and hopefully as the season goes on, he'll become a better back all around and can play more.
Is it easier for a bigger back like him to pass block because you got more size to deal with a 250-pound linebacker coming through?
He can be wrong. His technique doesn't have to be as sound as a Kevin Riley, because Kevin's a smaller guy, so he has to have technique as soon as he walks in the door. Whereas a bigger back can absorb some of that and still reset his hands and feet and just make up for it. So that's what I'm seeing so far. His technique isn't there, but he's a big physical dude, so it'll come because he wants to be a good blocker. So I'm excited about what he can be.
What makes Cole Adams explosive as a punt returner? We watched him first game. Looks like he needed one crease to keep him going.
Yeah, and this is his first time holding that position. I think being a punt returner is all about trust, first of all. So obviously we trust him a lot. He's done a good job, catching the ball, but the next part is being explosive. And you can't teach that. So I think he looked at the film and saw there were some opportunities for him to get vertical and make some big plays. But I think, with that comes, the humility that he had because he realized he left some yards out there. So I'm expecting him to come out and get better week by week. And I think we'll start with this week, him, catching the ball, making the first man miss, get vertical, and being an explosive guy he can be.
Is there anything you've been emphasizing having been on the staff from last year's team and having already been on the staff that prepared for USF?
You don't have to do a lot to motivate these guys. These guys all understand that we have to play to a standard. And obviously last year, I don't think anyone in the program feels like we played to a standard that we should play to at Alabama, regardless of who we're playing. Obviously South Florida's a really good team. they do a good job. They're going to go play hard, but we just have to worry about ourselves. It's always about us, not about who we're playing. So. Not a lot of rah-rah motivational, speeches that you have to give these guys. These guys understand that whenever we play an opponent from the past season, we have to go play better than we did. So regardless if it was Mississippi State, Tennessee, Ole Miss, it just happens to be South Florida that we played last year. We didn't play to our best football. We got to go play better this week.
What did you see from Richard Young in this past game?
Richard did some good things. He didn't get a lot of opportunities, but when he did, I thought he, ran the ball in between the tackles hard. But the biggest thing was him playing without the ball. He did a really good job in pass protection, and that's the one thing that I've been wanting to see from him. Like, who's the guy that can go in the game next, and it's not a drop-off. And that's what we talk about all the time, that when you put one back in, the next back has to do the same in the next back, because it's a long season. So I thought he did some good things in pass protection, and hopefully we'll continue to see him develop as a runner too.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Last week against Western Kentucky, Jam and Justice, their big thing was like explosive runs. Now against USF, would you say that would be a common thing for this upcoming game, or would you prefer like a 4 to 5 yard carry kind of thing?
I don't think anybody says they would take a 4 or 5 yard carry over an explosive. So, I mean, if that's what they're going to do is be explosive every time they touch the ball, we'll give it to them more. But, you can't determine that. You just have to go into it with a mindset of get my alignment, get my pre-snap read, and when I get the ball, I just have to react. So, obviously, we want to pound and do the things we have to do to get the nasty 3 to 4 yard gains. And then when the opportunity comes to become explosive and get one-on-one in space, we got to make a guy miss, and then we got to have breakaway speed. And I think both of those guys showed that they do have the speed, but there were also some tough physical runs where, the offensive line gives us a half a man. We got to get our pads low. So, to be a great back anywhere, but especially at the history here at Alabama, you got to be a guy that can do both, get the tough, nasty physical yards, but also be explosive when we can win our one-on-ones and score from long distance.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.